Hi, my name's Eleanor. Welcome to my channel. In this video I thought I'd show you how I do my swamp bases for miniatures. I hope you'll enjoy the video. Mix some green stuff or similar sculpting putty. Put it on the base and sculpt it into some ground texture. I jab it from different angles to try and make a varied sort of rough ground texture. If there are any parts here that we don't like, we can always cover that up with the texture paint that we'll apply very soon. So when the green stuff is cured or mostly cured, we can apply a texture paint, and I'm using Vallejo dark earth texture. I'm applying this with my sculpting tool, covering up some areas I don't like and just creating more textured earth. We then painted dark brown. I used Rhinox hide from Citadel. Before that dried, I also put some black paint and started blending that into the brown paint to form a gradient. It's not super critical that this blend is the best blend ever because it won't really be noticeable under the water effect, but try and make it somewhat good of a blend. We are then going to add a slightly brighter brown color. In this case, I used Steel Legion Drab from Citadel, and we're putting that on the base closest to the ground texture. And we are doing that because we want the area closest to the surface to be a little bit brighter. We then dry brush the base with some Steel Legion Drab or similar lighter brown color to create depth and highlights. When we've done that, we can mix some brighter brown into that. I used a khaki, it's called Rakarth flesh, but whatever light color you can use, and we can just continue building up these highlights. Most of this will be covered up later with foliage, but we want the few parts that are visible to look natural. So with some super glue, we're putting little puddles of it in places and adding some grass tufts. It's of course important to think about where your model is supposed to go, because gluing it on top of a grass tuft can be a bit difficult. We're then adding some clump foliage of different colors, and I try to put different colors beside each other because that looks the most interesting. I then added a grass tuft or two with some other colors than the first ones to create variation, and some flowers. We then use water effects, and I use Vallejo still water for this. We put some of it on the base and tilt the base so that the water effect flows and touches all of the edges. We can use a brush to help with this. This is going to require a few different layers because we don't want to put too much water effect on at once, and it shrinks a little bit when it cures. So we are going to need to do several layers. And I waited 24 hours or thereabout between every layer. I used 3 or 4 layers, and this is the effect we got. A similar base on a rooster rider from the Malifaux starter box. I did decide to add some vegetation to the edge of the water, and I used white glue to put little dabs on the first part of the water effects and add a little bit of clump foliage to those. And something else you can do, if you want to, you can also do water splashes. And if you want your model to stand in the water effects, of course you should glue it onto the base before adding the water effects. I used Vallejo water texture and I painted this on with a paintbrush I don't really care too much about. I tried to paint little globs of water texture in ways to make it look like water splashes. I gave these up to 24 hours to cure, and then I put more texture on top of the cured texture to add to these to make bigger splashes. And you can do this in quite a few layers if you want to. Now you can see the finished effect. I hope you like it, and I hope you found this video enjoyable and helpful. Please give me a like and subscribe and all that, and take care. Bye!